Now, this Father's Day, a new movie called Fatherhood tells the story of a young dad navigating life with his newborn daughter after the sudden death of his wife. The Netflix film is based on the life of a La Cañada family. And our Kristine Lazar has been following their story for more than a decade. She shows us just how far they've come.
For a long time, Matt Logelin's life was defined by loss. The loss of his high school sweetheart and wife, Liz.
She was my best friend, and suddenly she wasn't there.
Liz died from a fatal blood clot just 27 hours after their daughter, Maddie, was born in 2008. This is the only photo of mother and daughter together. Liz died before she could hold her firstborn child.
Those are the only two things really that are guaranteed to you, right? Like birth and death. And to have those two things kind of happen so close to one another, I didn't think I was ever going to be able to get through that moment.
Where are you going?
I first met Matt a year after Liz died. He was navigating life as a single father. He had a blog and used his raw and unconventional writing to work through his grief. That blog turned into a book. 2 Kisses for Maddie was released in 2011.
I didn't think anybody would really read it outside of my circle of friends and family. For it to end up on the New York Times bestseller list for a couple of weeks was a shock. And then 10 years later, for it now to be a movie it's beyond anything I imagined. It's beyond anything I even hoped for.
God, Maddie.
That's Kevin Hart playing Matt. The movie Fatherhood, based on Matt's book, will be released on Netflix Father's Day weekend.
She was gone.
Watching that movie was incredibly difficult for me. I watched it with Maddie and I watched it with Lizzie for the first time, and none of us could stop crying. You know, I mean, it's a really difficult thing to witness your pain sort of reenacted in this way, and 13 years later, it's not any easier.
Lizzie is Matt's new wife. Yes, Matt married a Liz, and then more than a decade later, he married a Lizzie. And yes, he's moved on, but not in the way some would think.
I still love Liz as much as I did, while she was still alive, but she's not an active part of my life, right? She's not here. And I have this new wife who's just wonderful and amazing and understands that I still love my late wife, but knows that I love her just as much. And there's just that space in my heart for both of them.
And another girl has filled Matt's heart. Her name is Birdie. Matt and Lizzie welcomed her in 2019. And in the fall, the Logelin family will grow again. They're expecting another baby girl.
If you could go back 13 years and talk to that Matt that I met in the early days, what would you tell him?
I would just tell him it's going to be okay. Even though your world had imploded, you're going to survive this. And that's sort of the message to anybody going through anything negative. At some point, there's some light at the end of that tunnel, I think. And it maybe not for everybody, but I think that there's some lessening of the pain at some point.
So what would Liz think of seeing herself portrayed in Hollywood?
I talk to her parents about this a lot, and their first question to me and my first question to them is always, what would Liz think about this? Because she would not believe this, and she would be so happy and so proud of this.
But Matt believes she would be most proud of the person Maddie has become. She's now in middle school, a voracious reader, a straight-A student, and a really amazing big sister.
How do you feel about being a big sister and becoming a big sister again?
It's fun. I enjoy teaching Birdie and stuff, because sometimes I'll draw a picture and she'll try to copy it. But, it's normally just lines.
Matt's goal all along in writing his book and allowing it to be made into a film was to make sure Maddie knows her mother.
Every day I still learn something new about her. Can I close the door? Yeah.
Looking around at my life now, I honestly never thought I'd be here. And I'm so happy that I am, and I'm so happy that I found a way to move forward in a way that was positive, and it was positive for both me and for Maddie.
I was able to watch an advanced copy of the movie and I loved it. It was done incredibly well. And it's been incredible for me to follow Matt and Maddie's journey since I first met them in 2009. It's not often that you report on a tragedy that ends in new love and new life. The new baby is due in October. I'm Kristine Lazar, CBS 2 News.